Hello everyone, this is Heather and I'm back with another video. This is number 5 of the Story and Sketch series, and today I'm going to be talking about Disney's 5th animated full-length feature, which is Bambi. I wasn't a huge fan of this movie as a kid. I think that had a lot to do with the slower pace of the film rather than the subject. I kind of was not really I got distracted easily, but to be fair, that hasn't really changed much as I've gotten older. Obviously, this is another case of I did enjoy it a lot more watching it as an adult, and I definitely wanted to learn more about the film later on after watching it. His movie really is a roller coaster of emotion, and getting into that a little bit more later. But I remember that the 50th anniversary of this movie, it must have been the 50th anniversary, so this movie came out in 1941, I believe, or 1942 maybe. But so the 50th anniversary would have been 91 or 92, so when I was a little kid. And I remember when this came out, and then I got the toy from McDonald's of Bambi with the little butterfly on his tail. So I don't know how many of you guys remember that, but I'll put up a picture. So the music, I actually, this is one of the songs I love listening to. April Showers is one of the songs I love, and I love how the chorus emulates the wind, and I feel like that in general, in this movie, that the chorus in this movie is on point. Absolutely. I feel like they do a very good job with the music, and, using it to move along the story, because there's definitely not as much dialogue in this movie as with other films, and I still feel like it works to its benefit. Because you kind of get more of a feel of the atmosphere and getting the character development through that. And it's kind of just an appreciation film more than anything else, an appreciation for animals and the environment, and I can definitely see where they're coming from, and I love the subject matter, and pretty much anything about animals makes me happy. So I think that the scene I remember the best as a kid is the ice scene, and I feel like that's probably the case for probably most people, but I think it must have played a lot on the Disney Channel when I was a kid, because I remember seeing just clips of it, just in between shows and movies and stuff. And again, I think I talked about this earlier, but I watched a lot of TV as a child, and pretty much just sat in front of the TV most days, so I think that this movie is also why I have a little bit of an aversion to winter. I don't really want to say hate winter, but I'm not crazy about it. I like the temperature of winter, definitely, but I feel like, the scene, because everyone knows about the scene where Bambi's mom gets shot, and it's really sad. It's a pretty upsetting scene, honestly, and even watching it now, knowing it was coming, it was it was hard to deal with, but the jump cut from that to the very next scene where it's the spring, and all the birds jumping around. I just, Disney, why? No, maybe wait a little bit to let it sink in, but maybe they were just trying to keep it light, and they knew it was an all ages thing, so that's probably why they did that, I'm sure. One of the characters I definitely relate to is the owl, because oh my god, it's just really funny watching him, it's the noise, all my neighbors are so loud. So I relate to this owl, absolutely. I don't know. Funny thing to bring up, I don't know if this movie started furries, but it definitely could have been. It could have been one of the proto furries, maybe. I definitely think that this movie did a really good job with the animal accuracies, for example, the hibernation, different animals that would be hibernating during the winter, the mating rituals, with when baby gets older and, starts fighting with the other male deer, and I think it worked really well for the story. It just they kind of implemented it perfectly. It just blends in with with the rest of the movie without really thinking about it, that it's still realistically they could be deer, but still, you know, like have stories and like their own characters. And I think a lot of it works really well. I mean, I honestly have no problem with this movie now, because like rewatching it, like I enjoyed it like a lot more, like I said earlier. So talking about like some of the other little featurettes after the movie, so again, I've been watching all the extra scenes at the end, like all the deleted scenes, kind of like the making of film, stuff like that. One of the scenes that they put in was a scene about two leaves, and this was basically about two characters that were leaves, and they gave them personalities, and then, you know, male and a female, and they kind of like lived their lives. So basically how they dealt with it is, you know, the leaves like trees shed their leaves for the winter, and then these leaves kind of like their lives are based on like the trees, you know, their lifespan. So when the tree starts, you know, when fall comes, the leaves start falling off, and then their life ends, the leaves' life ends. And it kind of just, they gave these two personalities to these leaves, that they were in love and they spent their entire lives together, and then eventually they just, you know, they're like, oh, we're ready to go. And it's really sad and but really like poignant and really well done, and I loved it a lot. I guess it doesn't really work with the flow of the movie as well, because there's a few other deleted scenes that they definitely cut for the better, I feel. And I think Walt Disney said something along the lines of, if it doesn't like enhance the story, if it doesn't keep the story moving, then, you know, there's no point in like keeping the scene. The songs in the movies, well, a lot of Disney movies, they only exist really to like enhance the story or to move the story along, or to solve a plot, you know, or anything along those lines. And while this leaf story is really well done and really well written, it definitely kind of detracts from the main story at hand, and kind of would be kind of out of left field, really. So it is for the best that they did delete it, but I mean, definitely watch it if you have Disney Plus, or if you have any way to access this scene. I definitely feel like you should watch it. So then, talking about this drawing a little bit, I just wanted to mention that I got a new graphics tablet. This is actually the first graphics tablet I've ever had, and I got it for myself on Black Friday, and that was basically my Christmas present to myself. And it's like one of the best things I've ever bought for myself, honestly. And this was the very first drawing I did on it. I drew Feline here, which is, you know, Bambi's girlfriend, and she's adorable. She's so cute. She's like, she jumps around and she laughs, like, so cute. Oh my god. So I had to draw her. I mean, I gotta draw Bambi's mom, I guess, but I feel like Feline was just like she's so flippin' cute. She just jumps around and So, this is the very first drawing I did and completed on my new graphics tablet, and I think that I did a pretty good job for it being the very first one. So something new I wanted to start for this video and the following videos after this is I want to do some kind of rating system where I rate movies based on kind of how I feel about them. This isn't necessarily like any kind of like official system or anything. This is just kind of how I think about it. So basically I'm just gonna give the whole overall movie, each different element of the movie, a grade rating, and I'm gonna pick that based on story, animation, voice acting, and music. And I think those are like the four most important things of making an animated movie. So starting with story, I thought the story was really solid. It's not the most captivating story out of all the Disney movies. I still think it's, like I said before, it's a lot more enjoyable now as an adult. As I said before, it's a lot more enjoyable now as an adult than it was when I was a little kid. But being so, I still gave it a B- because I like this movie a lot, but I still think it's lacking some strength that other Disney films have. The next thing I graded the movie is based on animation, and this is gonna be kind of like more or less pretty high up there with most Disney films, I feel. For animation, I give it an A. It's excellent. You know, there is really nothing to fault it on. I think it's like one of the best like animated films ever, probably. I mean, I don't know how many films were. I don't know if films and animation were actually using like real life reference at that point, but animators did use like they went out into the wild and actually like, studied animals, and they had deer they could actually like use for like life action. And I think it definitely helped the film. I think it definitely helped the film to a very positive extent, and I think, you know, animation wise, awesome, solid. Animators did an excellent job. Voice acting, I gave it a B+, and this is kind of only because there isn't a whole lot of voice acting to go off of, because there isn't a whole lot of like talking in this film, but I did give it a B+ because I thought that the kids were really good, but you know, they're still kids. They're only so good they can do at that age, and there was still plenty of really good emotion being conveyed. And as for music, which I feel like is one of the most imperative things of any film, what kind of music that's chosen for a film is usually used to enhance a scene or move the story. I think that the music in Bambi was no exception, really. I give it an A-. I don't have any issue with this music. I think all the music is excellent. I love that the way that the chorus is used to emulate the wind. I love the songs, the cute songs, like the April Shower song. I think they're really fun. And I love just overall, like the feeling, like the orchestra does an excellent job. And I don't have any real issues with it, so A-. And that's overall. I think, you know, Bambi's a super solid movie still, and I think you should definitely watch it if you haven't, or if you haven't seen it in a long time, go watch it now. Why not? It's not very long, and it's very enjoyable. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and are enjoying my incoherent rambling. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone. Thank you, as always, to my patrons, Andrew Linjo, Ben Wright-Human, Brandon Tinch, Colin Warmbrot, Council of Geeks, Dark Leap Master, Hexapus Inc., Jack Mahantenny, Jesse Girona, Merrick Bennett, Story Comic, and as always, a very special thank you to my $10 patrons, Corbin Koval and Steve Zarzinski.